On behalf of all of our speakers, I say good morning and welcome. We are very delighted and honored you are able to join us on Busby Street for this long anticipated announcement and design unveiling. As you can tell from our distinguished speaker roster, this project is dear and near to our elected leadership, as to the CEZ Inc. Board of Directors and the residents of this immediate community and the hearts of many members of the extended Columbia Empowerment Zone community. Busby Street Resource and Training Center will be a place where the community will come together, where partner agencies and business community will host meetings, conferences, and training classes. It will be a place where the police will engage with the community and the communities with each other. Busby Street was once a dead-end street plagued with the challenges of blight and structures of disrepair. There were vacant lots, and many of the existing infrastructure, including roads, drainage, sanitary sewer, water, and power, were in poor condition, and outdated streetlights were inadequate to provide proper lighting. However, today we're gathered on this site to announce a new beginning for this once dead-end street. As the program progresses, you'll hear more about its past and more about its future. At this time, I'd also like to take a moment to recognize Ms. Verdine Gleaton. I don't know where she is, but she is the administrative coordinator for the Empowerment Zone, and thank her for her hard work. I'd like to introduce the chairperson of the Columbia Empowerment Zone Board, Ms. Mildred Weathers McDuffie, who's been very supportive of this project from its beginning, and many more. Ms. McDuffie will recognize our other political leadership in the audience, and she will introduce to you our first speaker, Congressman James E. Clyburn.
Good morning. This is such a blessing to me. This is such a blessing to me. Now, I would like for all political, city, county folks to stand up, please. Please be recognized. Yeah, do it again. Huh? Councilman Duvall, I don't believe your name was called in the first round, but it's being called now. Stand up again. Reverend Richard Dozier, he's the president of the Eau Claire Development Corporation. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter about that. Anybody else I left out? Okay. I have been with the Columbia Empowerment Zone since its inception. And I work hard. I really work hard. But do you know they don't pay me a dime? But anyway, I enjoy doing what I do. And I'm going to take personal privilege here this morning. And I want to recognize, where's Carrie? Carrie Rich. Carrie Rich, I taught Carrie Rich in the 5th grade. And I made him become what he is today. But I wanted to recognize him. Yes. Okay. Miss Belfield, Myrtle Gordon, Wilhelmina Hill, Reverend J. Arthur Holmes, and Mrs. Fogel. They all started out with me. And today I stand and I ask you to pray for them and ask them to rest in peace. At this time, I'm going to introduce the congressman. And the congressman and I are home folks from Sumter County. Congressman Clyburn and his wife, Emily, have been supporting us in so many ways for so long, even before he graduated from South Carolina State College, even before he was at South Carolina State College. He grew up being a leader. And he doesn't only lead right here, he leads all over the world. And I'm very serious about that. I was in Liberia in 2006. I'm walking down the street. I see him, he see me, and he hollers, "Mildred!" And of course, his security people look around to see what is going on. And so we ran and we hugged each other, and he said to me, "What are you doing over here and didn't tell me you were coming?" I said, "What are you doing over here and you didn't tell me you were coming?" But both of us were there for the same thing, to help the country of Liberia. So I say that to say that he not only does what he needs to do in South Carolina, he does it all over the world. Wherever he's called upon, he goes. And I wish for him longevity. And he has a long time because I'm much older than he is, and I want him to continue as I have continued. So at this time, I'm going to bring to you our illustrious Congressman of South Carolina, the Honorable James E. Clyburn.
Well, thank you very much, Mildred. Let me begin by thanking all of you that have gathered here today to help us celebrate this groundbreaking ceremony in more ways than one. This is not just to break ground on the building, but this is to dedicate a mission of carrying out our responsibilities to those, for the most part, who have lived very productive lives and who have made it possible for all of us to be here today. And I think it is biblical for us to do what is necessary to give them a pleasing and pleasant and secure golden years. And I want to thank them for all that they have done. Now, Judge McDuffie, mentioned that little meeting that we had in Liberia. President Sirleaf Johnson, the president of Liberia, and many of you may know, was educated here in the United States of America. And those of us who know anything about the history of that country, we know there was a president before her named Taylor. And he was absolutely, probably the worst president, not in that country's history, but in the history of anybody being president. And she took on a task, quite frankly, a lot of us questioned the wisdom of her even running for the office. And a lot of us didn't think she would live this long, at least more be as productive as she's been. I worked with her 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, the International Longshoremen, ILA, undertook several years ago a mercy mission to parts of Liberia. And of course, it turned out that some people had notions about what these benefits, how they could be of personal benefit to them rather than the benefit to the country. And so I had no problems getting on the phone, calling Dr. Sirleaf Johnson, and letting her know what was going on. And quite frankly, because of that relationship that was kindled during that trip, we got that mission back on track. And it's important for us to have these kinds of relationships. So much for the international front. Here locally, last week, I took part in the dedication of 2 projects. One, those of you who traveled I-95, you know that right there at St. T, we just put in a new intersection. That intersection was put in because we needed to improve that area so that we could have investments, not just about businesses, but that we could invest in things as basic as water and sewage. I was told when I first got elected to office that if I were going to do anything about the I-95 corridor, we had to do something about water along that corridor, because we would never do anything if we didn't do the water. We were fought, just as we were fought for this empowerment zone. And many of you recall, the first time out, then Mayor Coble made a submission. It was a great proposal. It should have been funded, but the politics of the day would not allow it to be funded. And he was very upset about that. And because he was so upset, when the next round of empowerment zones came, he decided that he would not waste his time. He decided that the politics would keep him from doing it. I said to him at the time, I said, "Now, Mayor Bob, I know how you lost the first one. You should not have lost it. You submit it. Because I've been in Washington long enough now to learn how to work this thing." And he submitted it. And as you know, it was funded, authorized to the tune of $10 million a year for 10 years. Now, the way we got that done was to make it regional. Sumter, Columbia. Though I told a lot of people that the SC stood for South Carolina. SC Empowerment Zone. Well, you got to do what you got to do. And it worked. And so we got the Sumter, Columbia Empowerment Zone. Now, the reason I really wanted to be here today is because this day rounds out, first, the Lake Marion Regional Water Agency that we caught so much criticism about. But if we did not have the Lake Marion Regional Water Agency, when it became an opportunity, involved was trying to make a decision between whether or not to come to South Carolina or go to Georgia, the reason we were able to win that project is because the Lake Marion Regional Water Agency was there to provide the water necessary for the project. Nobody talks about that now. Nobody talks about the fact that how all of the criticism that we got for doing that. Then, right behind South Carolina State, I was there Friday. If you go down what we call Whitaker Parkway today, or Chestnut Street, you'll see a pedestrian overpass. I can't tell you how much criticism we got for earmarking the money to do that pedestrian overpass, in spite of the fact that several students were injured trying to get to school across that parkway. One of them was killed, but not enough people had died for them to do the project. This takes me to this overpass. 7 people were killed trying to get from that side of 277 to this side. And one day, I woke up to the news that a little 7-year-old girl had been kept after school, didn't want her mother to know it. And so she was running home, taking a shortcut so she could get home before her mother got home. And she was killed crossing this 277. Yet, when we tried to put the money in there to put this overpass, we were criticized severely. I'm talking about letters to the editor. The letter that got me most was the person who said, that is too much money to spend. All you want to do is get from one side to the other. What he was saying was, that's too good for that neighborhood. That's what he was saying. And that's what drove me more than anything else. And I am pleased that we have a mayor who is visionary enough. We have an empowerment zone, and this is really what I like about this empowerment zone. Now, Sumter, my hometown, long since gave up on their part. But you stayed engaged on your part. Not just engaged, but you went out to the private sector and you formed partnerships. And those private sector partnerships have brought us to this project. And so I'm going to congratulate you and say to you, Judge McDuffie, thank you for your visionary leadership. You know, there's a proverb, I know you're near the church preacher. You'll excuse me for this, but it's biblical. Where there is no vision, the people perish. We have perished a long time because there was a lack of vision. And so I want to congratulate this empowerment board, Brother Dozier. I want to congratulate this city council. Howard, I don't know why you're running from the sun. You can stand a little tan. Thank all of you. Sam, you know, Mildred mentioned a student. Sam is a former student of mine. I started out professional career as a high school teacher. And Sam is a product of some of my teaching. That is, he decided to do something opposite to what I advised him to do. And he done okay. But I'm gonna take credit for that anyway because that gave him an incentive to go out and do good. So I want to thank this council. I want to thank this board for showing this community the creativity, the fulfillment of a vision that will say to our senior citizens, you are appreciated. And I just want you all to know, I just live a few blocks from here, so I want to see this thing get done because I'm north of 70 myself and quite a distance north of 70. And so the sooner the better that this gets done, and it will not, I don't know what anybody else around here will do, but I plan, along with Miss Emily, we're going to make sure that it's used as often as our feeble bodies will allow us to come here. And so thank you all so much for doing this. Thank you so much for filling out a vision. Thank you so much for dedicating yourselves to the proposition that this community is as deserving of as much resources, is deserve what I would call aesthetically beautiful project. I saw those prospectus for this building, and it keeps that little theme in mind. It'll look like you coming across the building, across the highway, going into a building that will look just like that pedestrian overpass. This vision is just great, and you all should be congratulated. I can't wait to be here for the opening. If for no other reason, I'm not going to let Mayor Benjamin take all the credit for the project. So thank you so much. Let me just present him. I know that Mildred thinks I still need to be introduced to people in the 6th Congressional District. But Mayor Benjamin does not need to be introduced to the people in the city of Columbia. I want to thank him for his visionary leadership. We talk often. In fact, we talk too often because he always wants something. And I'm just stupid enough to try to give it to him. Thank you, Mayor Benjamin.
I know you all read the same papers and see the same news channels that I see. If you want to get something done in Washington, D.C., you go see Jim Clyburn. You go and see Jim Clyburn. Universally respected on both sides of the aisle. He has a way of making things happen, and we make sure that the issues of importance to the people of Columbia remain high on his agenda. It's not necessary, but we make sure that we not only engage him, but we give him all the air support we need, visiting all of his colleagues on both sides of the aisle, in both chambers, and regrettably lately, even at the White House lately. Our congressman has led through various different types of administrations, none, I think, as unique as this one. And I ask that you give him not only your complete support, but your prayers as he continues to serve this incredible 6th district with the visionary leadership he has done. We have enough speakers. I'm not going to talk long. I just want to tell the wonderful people of this community, 29203, folks from Guernsey Drive, folks in North Columbia, Farrow Road. Isn't it a great day on Busby Street? It's a great day on Busby Street. And I want to thank my colleagues on City Council for their commitment and their leadership and all the good stuff that make the news, you all. But I want to thank, in order of seniority, Mr. Davis and Ms. Devine, Councilman McDowell, who I know shares this area with Mr. Davis, and Councilman Duval, along with our incredible city staff for staying the course. Over the years, what was going to happen here has taken different forms and in different shapes. But we knew that whatever happened here had to be a manifestation of what the vision this community wanted to see here. So we now have a site in excess of 8 acres. Includes a 5,540 feet, I'm gonna make sure I get every single foot, square foot facility for our community partners to provide training programs, a place for our residents, our neighborhoods to come together to fellowship, to learn about empowerment and learning opportunities, a place for our community and our police, our law enforcement to engage and grow together. This multi-service facility will be a center of the community, and we're so excited and thankful for the leadership of Judge McDuffie of the Empowerment Zone, and Felicia, your entire board, Reverend Dozier, the Eau Claire Development Corporation, the continued leadership that you provide out here. I see the mayor of Eau Claire, Henry Hopkins, out here. Thank you for letting me speak in your stead, Mr. Hopkins, and there's so many of you. Christy and Sabrina, Ms. Harrison's going to be up. I know she's going to speak for the entire community, and she's going to be really, really nice and sweet. Really, really nice and sweet. We've had meetings out here several times over the years, whether right here at the M.L. Smith Center, at a local business just a little bit north of here, or at the Eau Claire Community Council, just talking about the importance of getting this done and getting it done now. It was even more important that we got it done right. And I will tell you, this will be a testament to the strength and the prosperity of 29203. I do also want to make sure I bring a few more things to your attention, because that's my job to do that. I would encourage you to go out and see Greenview Park, the very nice, incredible, I think the nicest water park in the entire state out here in North Columbia. Get over to Earlwood and see the fantastic improvements that have happened there. Keep in mind what's coming to Hyatt Park, Mr. Davis. Just go around the corner to Beltline Boulevard and see the new $16 million LEED certified building with a 300-person community room just on Beltline Boulevard, and a fantastic vision for a park and urban farm and a cooperative grocery store on Beltline Boulevard. The things that you don't see, the underground improvements, the water and the sewer and the stormwater improvements, the roads improvements. Congressman Clyburn didn't mention his efforts in helping us secure a $10 million Tiger grant. His efforts in helping us secure $21 million in storm relief funds to help with the future of our infrastructure here in the city. All out here in 29203, you add it all up, we're talking about well over $100 million of public investment, local investment, state and federal investment being driven out into this area to represent, again, what we believe 29203 is and will be. God bless you. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for your leadership. Teresa, thank you to you and your staff for continuing to see this through. We are ready to get going on this. God bless you. And I have the pleasure of introducing my friend and colleague and mentor, the Honorable Sam Davis, City Councilman, District 1. Come on, Sam.
Good morning. Today is the pinnacle of a long journey, commitment, and partnerships. I would reiterate the value and the contributions of the empowerment zone. When we first conceived this project, there were some eyes raised, flashing, and it was all about the question of necessity, but we thought about quality of life. And this building, this property, and the amenities here will address the quality of life of this part of the city, although others will be welcome. The one thing that has kept the fire under us has been the people who live out here. I can't tell you how many times I've had to ask staff to come cut the grass. Going back to quality of life. If the grass was not maintained while we pursued the project, rats, snakes, and people coming into this area not respecting it. So, Congressman Clyburn did hear our plea. The staff stayed with this project. And for most of you who are familiar with it, it's been a while. But we take trips to Washington, and we make our rounds, and the empowerment zone, which by the way is the last sustaining empowerment zone in the country because it was all about sustainability during those days. Investing the money, and the question is, what do you see when the project is all gone and the money out of Washington stops? In this city, this empowerment zone has a lot to show and a lot to be proud of. North Main, downtown, this location, and partnerships yet to come. And that's what it's all about, a true commitment to the promise we made, and it's all because we listen. And if you don't listen, then you're just kind of swimming upstream. And this location is going to add to the quality of life of the senior citizens, the young people, the middle-aged people. Training is what it's all about. It's going to play a role, maybe not a major role, but it will play a role in jobs creation, jobs development, and health, family health issues. So, but this journey has been about everybody playing a major role. Now, I was here when it first got started, and we pushed, and we justified. And then there was a line drawn, and I want to give Ed McDowell credit because Ed came on board head first, and he's been a true partner in all of this, and he will be working as we carry this project forward. And so, again, it's not about lines, It's about whether or not we, the city of Columbia, live up to our promises to you, and that we continue to be partners with you, that we listen to you, and at the end of the day, you will be the ones to pass judgment and say, we did our job, we care about you, investments are coming to this area. The mayor just reiterated some of them, and I can assure you, those investments are the result of listening to you. And if you don't want it, Sam Davis don't want it. If you need it, Sam Davis and Ed McDowell will fight for it. That's what representation is all about. That's what community is all about. And that is what quality of life is all about. Our job is to make sure those daily necessities are here in this area, that you don't have to get in your car and crank it up and drive 4, 5, 6 miles. It should be in your neighborhood, where you live, your community, and we hear you. So I'm going to stop. I think you know where I'm coming from. But I want to introduce my friend, my partner, Ed McDowell.
Good morning. I thought one time my colleague was going to ask the ushers to take up an offering. Let me just say a word of thanks to each of you who have gathered in this place. From a dead-end street to an oasis of possibilities and opportunity. From chaos to development. From politics to people understanding that it's not lines, it's lives. We come to this place, this hallowed piece of soil, to develop this place of hope, resources, and training. Now, I must admit to you that my colleague, Sam Davis, did all of the legwork at the very beginning. And I am appreciative for what he has done to make this partnership a reality in this community. This community has come together. And of course, you know, I'm a preacher, and there's a theological lean to this. When Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, the walls didn't come down because the foot poundage of Joshua was so strong and mighty. But the walls came tumbling down because there were other folk behind him, marching. This community stood up, prayed up, confessed up, and believed that this place was going to be sacred territory. So we gather here today, not because we've been that good, but because the Lord has blessed us. Our congressman has blessed us, continues to bless us, and there are some other things we'd like for him to bless us with. Amen. Congressman, I had to do that. I really did. Thank you all so much for being here. This bulldozer, this grader is going to start. Let's make this new Genesis a reality in the life of our community and this city of ours. Thank you so much. And let me introduce my friend and colleague, Tamika Isaac Devine.
All right, so I'm bookending the politicians, and so I'm going to be very brief. But I want to thank you all for being out here, and this is an exciting day. This has been a long time coming, and I remember, growing up with my Aunt Jo and Uncle David over here on Guernsey, and my god-grandmother, Miss Gray, and then my Aunt May. on the other side. So this community means a lot to me, and I know that it means a lot to you all, and it is a place that should be lifted up and continue to be improved. And so I just wanted to say, earlier this year, last year, council worked on our vision statement. And when you all get a chance after the bulldozer, take a look at our vision statement and our 7 focus areas. But I will submit to you that this project is so very important to the city. It hits so many of our focus areas, from attracting and retaining talent. Having a training resource center here will help us attract and retain talent, not just within our law enforcement, but within the community. Planning together, this has been a plan that we have started with the community, and then we as council people have taken it forward, connecting our community. This will connect this entire community. It will be a resource center for you all, someplace that you can come and you can meet, a walking trail that you can remain healthy. I will join you with my stroller out here the first chance I get. The empowering our residents, and that is so important, because everything we do, we want to empower you all to really thrive and as the congressman said, live out your golden years, and we know that that is our responsibility. Enhancing Columbia's neighborhoods, completely, this will enhance this community that has been a stalwart within our city, and we want to recognize the importance. And lastly, leading the way in innovative and high-quality municipal services. This will be a state-of-the-art facility, an opportunity for other cities to look at the investment that we make in our communities to help empower our residents. And so I will tell you, there's nothing else more important than something that will be able to hit almost all of our focus areas and continue to move us forward as a city. So we are committed to getting this done. We're excited. We will be happy to see this ribbon cutting and be able to start utilizing this. And so I just want to thank my colleagues again. And I have to say, Sam, I tease Sam a lot, because when Sam gets mad, if y'all have ever seen him in a meeting, he starts pounding his hand, and he gets frustrated. And there's been many conversations about moving this forward where Sam has been pounding his head and moving forward. And I'll tell you, it hasn't always been easy for all members of council to see that this is a project that we need to move forward. You know, having federal dollars is fun, is great, but when you have to put some of our dollars in it, we don't always have colleagues that see it that way. But I will tell you that Sam was always fighting and arguing for this, and I think that the product that we're getting is so much better. I know I appreciate y'all's patience, but it is really going to be worth the wait. So I thank you all for being here, and I thank our city manager and her staff, because without her always saying we can get this, and sharpening her pencils and making sure that we had the money to not only break this ground, but to complete this project, this first phase of the project, we wouldn't be here today. And I want you all to remember, lastly, that we hadn't forgotten about Farrow Road either. That is coming soon, and hopefully we will have yet another gathering on Farrow Road to announce some great things coming there. So again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support and your pushing. And then I have to say to Miss Corrine and my ladies who like to come and talk about, you don't have to come see me and Sam anymore about any snakes or rats or anything, because it will be taken care of. But continue to come and push us and tell us what you need, because we will always be here to listen and then provide it. So thank you. And I got the pleasure of introducing our Director of Parks and Recreation, Mr. Randy Davis.
Well, good morning. I want to first of all thank the visionaries of this project, because believe it or not, this is kind of personal to me, being that I once was a young lad, and the resources that a community center offers young people are endless. It's endless in that it allowed me the opportunity to get exposed at an early age to what we do in recreation. And having that resource geared me on the right track. And I hope that this will benefit the community, where it will build generations to come. Helping children learn to grow and play, and expand their horizons. This is like a village of sorts in terms of what we're going to see here in the very near future. It will allow the Busby Street Community Center and Training Center will be a valuable asset to the community. It will be a hub of activities for children can play, explore, and grow, as well as the adults. One of the things that you may not know about this facility, it's going to be equipped with state-of-the-art technology. And, you know, that will attract just about anybody and everybody. So the resources and the opportunity for you know, growth and development, not only with children, but with adults and seniors as well. So again, I want to say we're very proud to be able to help providing a space that will have tremendous impact in this community. And before I end, I want to thank Mr. S. Allison Baker, Senior Assistant City Manager, for allowing me to be under his tutelage over the years as I grow in this experience. And again, the Parks and Recreation staff and all the city employees, this is going to be an awesome community center and training facility. And thank you very much. At this time, I guess the next speaker up is Ms. Edna Harris, President of Burton Heights Standish Acres Community.
Good morning again. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will be glad in it. It is such a pleasure to be here today. And I would like to personally thank all those entities that has brought us here today. But before we get there, I would like to say, number one, it has been a long struggle. We have been to meetings. We have been to on-site visitations. We have been to planning, architectural planning, and we have also had groundbreaking. So it is really a beautiful day today, and we are thankful. However, I would like to say a few things, and I know you're hot, but it's been a long time coming. Number one, this Fair Road is a very special Fair Road. This entity, or this corridor, leads into the city from I-20 and I-77, and it has been neglected. However, we are thankful and we are appreciative. But at the same time, on my right and on my left, there is a community called Burton Heights Standish Acres neighborhood, and we are proud of our community. And most of us that live out here have been out here for almost 40 to 50 years. And we have simply sometimes been forgotten, but that's going to change. So we are asking all of you to support us as we ask for things in our neighborhood. We have to leave out of our neighborhood to go to a decent bank. We have to leave out of our neighborhood to go to a grocery store of some means. We have to leave out of our neighborhood to do those things that should be a part of our neighborhood. So we are thankful for what's going on today, and at the same time, Congressman Clyburn, we are begging, okay? And we are asking. And my thing is, if you don't ask, you don't get. So therefore, we're going to continue to fight for those things that will support our community. Again, we thank you, and I know it's hot, and I'm going to stop, but Ms. Corrine Eichenberger called me the other day and told me to tell you this, that she is not going to be happy until we see some bricks and mortar going up. Thank you.
Before Ms. Wilson comes up, I did want to recognize our architect firm, Stockton Reed, and he's waving his hand in the back, and we appreciate your efforts. And now we'll hear from Ms. Wilson, and she will then do the unveiling.
Yes, you will not hear from me long because I think everything has been said. I'm glad Felicia mentioned that Stockton's here, our city architect, Bob Probst, city administration, Missy Gentry, Allison Baker, all of the departments, and I think the term village was utilized over the years, who have really stayed the course, because this is truly a labor of love. We're so thankful that Congressman Clyburn, Mayor Benjamin, Columbia City Council, the Columbia Empowerment Zone, Eau Claire Development Corporation have had the patience and foresight to work with staff as we've tried to come up with resources in addition to federal dollars to really make this happen. So we couldn't be more proud. I know I couldn't be more proud. For the 10 years I've been with the city, in some form or fashion, I have worked on this project as well. One of the things I think that does my heart the most proud And I feel just, lifted up this morning as we book in a beautiful Mother's Day weekend, is to see so many mothers of this community out here this morning. I mean, to see this happen, and the staff knows that that's something that I continue to talk to them about, not just from a safety perspective, but a quality of life perspective for the people in this community who have given so much. Give them their flowers while they are here. And so we are going to unveil this project. We know we'll continue to hear from you as it moves forward. And yes, Congressman Clyburn, God willing and weather permitting, we will get it done on time and on budget. So hopefully by this time next summer, we'll all gather again. So let's unveil the project.